your eyes. Are you gonna chew the gum during the photo? Ah, you're such a waste.
No, I'm gonna put it on my napkin. Finish with your legs asleep. Like you only look.
Although I've got my grandma's shoes on because my back was hurting.
Do you think Sanaz should take her hair a little bit to the back?
Why don't you just say you want to put my hair back? And we are Mind the Gap. No?
We are the team behind Mind the Gap. We are Mind the Gap team.
It's great to be back here at the National Museum of World Cultures in Gothenburg, Sweden. It's my third time now since November last year, and since we obviously first met back in Sofia for the Tandem Europe program.
Yeah.
How was that first meeting? Do you remember it?
Yeah, it was sweet and sour. It was full of emotions, full of tension. I felt like we were always timed, like we had to rush, we had to find the partner, and I just followed my guts.
We were one of the first
I think so.
people to collaborate, right? And to kind of announce our tandem. And you were the one who...
Do you remember how I asked you? I proposed with a balloon. You want to be my tandem? And it was so nice because every time there would be a tandem, they would take a picture with this instant camera.
Yeah. You know, initially when I started the tandem journey back in Sofia, I was like, oh my God, this is like, okay, you know, I've done this sort of stuff with, you know, similar, but actually the way they do it is so well, it's so well thought out that when you go through the process, as much as it can be sometimes quite painful and tiring, it is worth it. I mean, the way we have bonded with our peers within our tandem, but also across Europe with our friends, it's like nothing else actually. You have to go through that in order to bond, and obviously being stuck on a Greek island for 6 days with 5,000 sheep and only another 150 or 70 people and the 3 ducks was particularly bonding because we had only really each other and a very nice beach, but it was really each other that we had to get to know, and I think that was actually quite special in the end. You know, as much as we kind of thought, 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back, but it was a very, very unique experience that I don't know if you could replicate again. But what was your funny moment? Obviously, I can see that you've got a repertoire in your head of really funny moments.
No, I mean, speaking of the Greek island, I still remember that one evening when we were having dinner and I was busy watching the match because it was the World Cup at that time, and I was late for the main course. And then I come and I sit next to you and I start eating and you're like, do you like the lamb? I'm like, yeah, it's really nice, I like it. And then probably 15 minutes later you're like, Rasha, by the way, this is tuna fish.
Because you were talking about the fact that at the National Museum, you're based in Gothenburg. Gothenburg was voted Europe's most segregated city, and yet Sweden has the highest number of refugees per capita. And so there's a really clear issue around segregation between refugee migrants and native communities. And for us in London, Rosetta Arts are based in one of the most culturally diverse parts of the country, one of the most deprived, has lots and lots of different social issues. It's very rich, like I said, in terms of the diversity, but actually when we have so many different people with different backgrounds side by side, there can also be quite a lot of segregation and hostility between various cultural groups.
We had a mixed group between newcomers from the Middle East and from Afghanistan, and also we had participants who are based here since a long time in Gothenburg. You can call them natives if you want. And we had an open discussion about gaps in our lives, and gaps related to gender gaps, gaps between your dreams and the reality that you're living in, gaps between your daily life and the ongoing conflict back in your home country, and how do you deal with that. We also, as part of our program, and as you said, because we identify the challenge around this gap and about the segregation and the fact that there is growing racism and anti-Semitism and all of these Nazi movements that are now going on the streets in Sweden. So basically we organized a workshop with an organization. It's a group of youth. It's based here they are based here in Gothenburg. It's called Everyday Racism, Vardagens Civil Courage. And we did a workshop about what we call civil courage. So, the main purpose was how to be friends to others that you don't know. So if someone is harassing you or saying a racist comment to you on the metro, how do I step up and say, look, this is not okay, and not just remain as a silent witness or write something about it on social media.
Yeah.
So we made this mixture, and we filmed about 8 stories. So now they are published online, and we did the publishing or the release of the stories on the 20th of June, which is the International Day for Refugees.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And obviously we extended that civil courage theme when we did the work in London with our young people under the Young Makers programme. And you delivered that workshop on leadership and ethics under that banner. And then we had the filmmaker and new media artist Shanaz Golzar deliver digital storytelling workshops with our young people around heroism and looking at the qualities in which, whether it's imagined or real heroes that our young people aspire to, what those qualities are in order to kind of relate the values that come from civil courage and being able to speak up and being able to think about the decisions you make on kind of a series of value systems that you've identified. And that was also, I mean, the outputs that we had from those 2 different groups were incredibly different.
Yeah.
Right. So,
True.
And those obviously told a different story as well.
Thank you so much, Sanaz, really from the bottom of my heart for this enriching experience, or I would say a taster of what is a long-term partnership and friendship. It was indeed the chemistry at first sight. And
I totally agree with that from my side as well.
I'm really happy, and thank you, Tandem, for this